federal program, I'm not qualified. So I'll do one thing, I'll go through Quebec and then I'll go to Toronto and settle down in Toronto. That's the first question, that are we permitted to go and settle down in any of the provinces, in other provinces in Canada, if we go through a Quebec program? Let me put it this way. Quebec government is giving you this visa because they want you to come and settle down in their province. And it's a great province to settle down in. It's another thing that Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedom, just like we have Constitution in India, so parallel of that is called Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedom in Canada. As per Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedom, you can live and work anywhere in any of the 10 provinces and 3 territories of Canada. So I think that answers your question, if you had that question in mind. But in my opinion, if you are able to learn, have basic French skills by the time your visa comes in, keep in mind that they'll give you free French coaching once you land there, and when you land there, again you start using it on daily basis and you'll have proficiency in no time. And the last, and I think it's very important for you to appreciate that particular but a very significant aspect if you are looking at Quebec. As a matter of fact, in Montreal everybody talks in English as well as French. Montreal is not Paris. That people are so fanatic about French as a language that in a corporate environment you are working and you are a beginner in French, yes, they will try and help you out. They'll encourage you to speak French. They'll speak to you in French language, but you will not face a situation in your workplace that you want to talk in English and they will refuse to talk to you in English. Everybody talks in English. By the way, English and French both are official languages of Canada. So practically speaking, everybody talks in both the languages. Only the level of proficiency will differ. So both the languages are taught at school level, even till high school level. Quebec as a destination is a destination where majority of IT professionals will qualify, where majority of marketing professionals, accounting professionals will qualify. So it's a great destination to be in. And we'll be pleased to help you out on this destination because, believe you me, there is no company better than Abhinav to guide you on this particular process. We've been doing it for the last 10 years. It's a fairly, if you are qualified, it's a fairly simple process. The jurisdiction, Indian jurisdiction, is that the application is filed in, they have an office in Hong Kong. So your application is filed in Hong Kong. And normally, once in a year, they send delegations for conducting interviews. These interviews take place at Canadian High Commission, New Delhi. And during the interview, they talk to you about various aspects. If you already know French and you're perhaps able to give them 2 or 3 levels of French certifications, believe me, you may even get an interview waiver. Interview waiver is very normal in the Quebec process for those who have the right skills, experience and French skills. So, I think we had requested one microphone for the audience.
Okay. My question is, if you have basic French skills, but you don't have certification, then is that considered?
Based on this, we can claim basic points in French language when we file. But just like this, you forget Quebec for the moment. So this forms a very, it's an excellent reason for you to file application in the Quebec program, and it's a very good reason why your application will be accepted. Now that's one. That's part 1 of my response. Let's go to part 2 of the response. Just like, forget about Quebec for a moment, you also have, your English communication skills. They are very clear. You have done your graduation, postgraduate, whatever it is. You've been working in an English speaking environment, but still, if you are applying under skilled program under federal or Australia skill, you're still required to give IELTS test. Why? Because they want to have an official confirmation of your language skills. So to give that official confirmation of your language skills, the certificates help a lot. So I would say, unless you have done, really speaking, French as a language, as not as a language, you have done it as a subject, as something at bachelor's level, at master's level. Unless you have done French at that level, and you are counting at basic French as something that you did at a school level, my answer will be that you will be much better off. It's a good enough point for you to make an immediate application, but you will be much better off with almost certain acceptance of your application if you carry on with your French language skills and provide certification in due course. So Quebec, yeah. Lokesh, one of you can separate round. You can be, Lokesh, you can be.
Further to the same query,
Yeah.
just wanted to know, we have in federal skill, there is a limitation of 500 applications. In this Quebec program, there is no limitations for the start of the application.
Quebec, to the best of my understanding, they have currently a quota is around 4,500 applications.
45.
Yeah, underskilled. And as of last month, my understanding is around 2,500.
So there is still
The
2,000
quota is very much there, but if we have to go by what has happened over the last few years, they are very choosy about whom they take in. So quota, in my opinion, quota will not be an issue in Quebec.
Yeah, so it's not like it, say, as you say, that we start with the French classes, or maybe we start planning our certifications and all, maybe 6 months down, 9 months down the line, you can start with the filing as well.
The group that's sitting here right now will not face this situation at all. Reason being that quota is from January 1st to 31st of December.
Okay.
So you will not have this situation in any case, because I am talking of Quebec quota. In case of federal, the quota is from July 1st to June 30th of every year. In case of Quebec, it's from 1st of January to 31st of December. So we are almost through with half year, as far as quota situation is concerned. So you will have advantage of being considered in the current year quota as well as next year quota.
So there is
You have that.
thank you.
So Quebec, so you are interviewed. After you are interviewed, you get through, they issue what's called selection certificate. Immigration process is not finished here, because the visa issuing agency is not the Quebec government, it's just one of the provinces. Keep that in mind. The visa issuing authority lies only with the federal government. So then, with the selection certificate, we make the file all over again and file it to the Canadian High Commission, New Delhi, which then issues you medical. That's followed by visa stamping. Normally, that's why you look at around 18 months as a very reasonable time frame. Immigration as a subject is such, it's always better to add on 6 more months than say that I'll get the visa in 12 months time. So if I'm saying 18 months, add on 6 more months in your planning. It's got nothing to do with Abhinav or Rajesh Sharma. It's just got to do with the simple fact that the visa officers get transferred. It's got to do with the simple fact that there are external factors which nobody has control on. They need to meet some quotas. They'll give visa. I mean, I've faced some very crazy situations over the last 17 years. I've seen situations where people get interview calls in 3 months' time. Why? Because the bureaucracy out there needs to meet some immigration quotas. And then the quota gets over. A person, if he was to be interviewed within 9 months, is interviewed after 15 months. Why? Because the fresh quota is still to be released. So it's a funny thing, but that's a reality. So 18 months is a very reasonable phase for Quebec immigration to be planning for, and add on 6 months, it's not a bad idea. But rest assured, if anybody tells you Quebec immigration is possible within a year's time, again, he's making a fool of you. Quebec immigration will not happen from beginning to end. The process is around 18 months, including the federal stage. The federal stage itself is around 6 months. The Quebec stage is around 12 months. It can be stretched for another 3 months. Okay. Now, this as far as Quebec is. Any specific question on Quebec?
The federal quota, what you said, starts from July to June, whatever it is. Currently, in case if you try to apply, I guess most of the time it's over. I mean, once the quota is over and you file an application, does that mean your application gets rejected and your money is waived off, fees waived off, and you have to make a fresh application next year? Or
No, they simply return your application. They simply, the file is not even opened up. You see now, for example, this particular occupation 1112 that everybody talks about, everybody seems to know about. Now, my assessment is that in all likelihood, the next updating that will be done on the website, perhaps in 1 week's time, will indicate the quota is over. So, all the applications that are now received will simply be returned without processing. And then what you do is this, you wait for next year, and if occupation is there, refile the application. Any more questions on what we have discussed till now? Okay, let's move on, because Canada, I have nothing more to talk about as far as skilled immigration is concerned. Okay, let me touch briefly on another subject which is a favorite subject of some of the consultants, to make, really speaking, ridiculous commitments. So you should be aware about these situations also. Situation number 1. PNP programs, provincial nominee programs, whereby each of the provinces can also, besides Quebec, can also has some quota allotted by the federal government. Quebec has independent quota, but other provinces has quota for skilled workers that's allotted by the federal government, under which they can issue some skilled workers, visa to some skilled workers. But that is possible only if you have a confirmed job offer from a provincial employer. So if you have a confirmed job offer from a provincial employer, then you can make an application to other provinces also. So that's there, but we can't get you those jobs. So we are not able to assist you on this program. We can assist you if you have an employer. So we can take the process from there on. So you have an employer who is willing to sponsor you, because there are many stages after that. You have Human Resource Canada. So even if an employer is willing to sponsor you, he needs to get Human Resource Canada approval. So we can coordinate the process with Human Resource Canada. Even then, after that, after Human Resource Canada, you need to get the provincial state government, their approval. So we can make an application to the provincial government to get that approval. Once that approval comes in, you again have to file at Canadian High Commission New Delhi, so we can process that application for you. So if you have a provincial employer in a province that's other than Quebec, we can help you so long as you have an employer who can sponsor you. Another very popular question people often have because of overall awareness is arranged employment offer, arranged employment opinion. So that's another thing that's part of the overall process that the Canadian government has, CIC has right now. That arranged employment opinion is a process whereby if a Canadian employer is willing to hire you and files for such a process with Human Resource Canada, which then approves his proposal, then against that arranged employment opinion confirmation, you can make an application with Canadian High Commission even if your occupation is not listed in the 29 list occupation. You can still make an application. 2 comments here. Number 1, do not confuse AEO with work permit. It's not work permit. AEO is not a work permit. It's just an immigration process. AEO is also not a confirmed job. Keep in mind, legally speaking, after you land, let's say you have an AEO, and after getting an AEO, you make an application, your visa is approved. Now you land in Canada. The employer is under no obligation, legal obligation to hire you. AEO is just mentioned that the profile looks good to me and I may be willing to hire him if he comes as a permanent resident. But you land after 2 years. By that time he can say, I don't have a job. Who is going to keep that vacancy open for you for 2 years? So AEO is not a work permit. It's just one of the procedures through which, if you are not listed in the occupation, you can make an application. Now out here, what I'll share with you our experience. We went through the AEO process, search for our clients in a very proper, organized manner. Writing to employers, telling them we have clients who are willing to, go for this AEO process, but nobody bothers to revert on it. Second thing is this, that you have to be aware of situations. Is the biggest fraud going on right now that people are selling AEO as a proposal that pay us 7 lakhs, 8 lakhs, 6 lakhs. Do not get trapped into any of such things. Is the biggest fraud. There are enough stories on the net what I'm talking to you about. It's a proper fraud. So what they do is this, they'll take 3.5 lakhs from you, that I'm getting this AEO offer for you, and this particular employer who is sitting, they'll pay him in cash, who will process that entire application with Human Resource Canada. As a client, you will become very happy when you get that particular document approved by Human Resource Canada, because that's an authenticated document. You pay another 3.5 lakhs to him. Then you make an application to Canadian High Commission, New Delhi. When you make this application, they counter check with the employer. By that time he got his money. And he says, okay, I had this thing at that time, but I don't have it now, and maybe I'm not interested. Because when CHC will speak to them, they are going to ask him, why do you need this marketing professional? We have enough of these marketing professionals who are sitting in Canada right now on Workopolis website, or any website. Why do you need this accounting professional? You want candidates? We can give you. Why do you want to hire this person you have never met? And when the government of Canada, Canadian High Commission, asks them this tough question, they simply back out. But by that time you have paid. You don't get that money because employer received money in cash. There is nothing for you to prove that you paid. And this person then will stop you taking your call. So there is a big fraud going on. Do not pay to anybody for AEO. If you come across, if you sign with Abhinav, we make an effort, you don't pay us anything. We make an effort to search for an employer for you. Frankly, we have not been successful because employers don't respond. But if at all it becomes successful, then you pay if it becomes successful. Till date, we have not been successful in even a single case. I am being honest and fair.